Hello, my name's Gabriel and I have what they call schizophrenia. Today, what I want to talk to you guys about is believing that God or angels are talking to you. So, in my psychosis, I felt like angels were talking to me. I felt like God was sending angels to talk to me. I felt like everything I heard was either an angel or a demon, but mainly angels. And the whole psychosis was revolved around what I thought were angels talking to me. But looking back, why would God put fear in you? So a lot of people in psychosis, they think that God's talking to them, or they think that angels are talking to them. And I'm not trying to tell people what to believe in or that everything is schizophrenia, but I just have a question. If it's making you feel fear, if the voices are making you feel fear, if they're making you feel uncomfortable, why would God do that to you? Why would angels put fear in you? And it took me a while to realize that in my case, the voices were hallucinations. And some people might say, "Oh, it's ghosts, it might be demons," but overall in my experience, for me, I feel like it was hallucinations. But if you're in that psychosis and you feel like you're in a place where you're hearing voices and you think they're angels and the voices are scaring you, if they're really angels, why would they put fear in you? See, a lot of people, they listen to the voices and they try to get along with the voices because they feel like their voices are of a higher power and they don't want to they don't want to be on the bad side of their voices. But for me, what it took me was I had to stop listening to the voices, stop replying to them. I had to start sticking up for myself and just block them out. And I came back on my medication. I've already explained my story. In 2020, I went through a psychosis, and basically, after a few months, I came back on my meds and I recovered. But the whole psychosis was based off of angels and demons. And I really thought for about the first month of my psychosis that I was talking to angels. And it took me a while to realize why would an angel put fear in me? And I would think, well, then I would think, well, maybe it's a lesson. I'd catch myself thinking maybe these angels are trying to teach me a lesson, and that's why they're putting fear in me, just so I could learn a lesson or be taught a lesson. But that was my mind trying to once again trick me into believing that these angels that were talking to me, that I thought were angels, that was my mind trying to trick me into trusting it again. But I had to realize, I had to step back and say, hey, I had to stand up for myself. I had to stop replying to the voices. I had to stop trying to get along with them. And like I said, when you're in psychosis and you're hearing voices, sometimes you don't want to be on the bad side of your voices because you're afraid of them. But you have to remember, why would God put fear in you? And when I realized that it didn't really make sense, I started to recover with medication. It wasn't just like I had a epiphany and I went back to normal. It was, I had to take the steps. I had to get back on my medication and all that. But the first step was admitting that maybe there is something wrong. Maybe it's not angels. Maybe my mind is creating these voices. And when I realized that, it brought me peace because I was worried that I thought because these angels or these voices that I thought were angels were putting fear in me, I thought maybe it's a lesson and maybe I should get along with them because they're just trying to teach me a lesson. But like I said, it didn't really make sense. And I just had to take the steps to get better. But that's the question I have for you today. Why would God put fear in you? Why would angels put fear in you? And you don't need to get along with your voices. It's okay to just block them out. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard to block them out, especially if you're hearing them all day long. But you can try taking the first step by not replying, and like I said, maybe listen to music. But overall, what I've learned is a lot of psychosis has to do with dopamine. When your dopamine's too high, it can trigger psychosis, and when your dopamine's too low, it can trigger psychosis. And this is why sometimes when you're in a psychosis, you feel really good, and other times you feel really bad. It's because your dopamine's either really low and you feel bad, or your dopamine's really high and you feel good. But both can cause hallucinations and discomfort. So if you're hearing voices and you think angels or God is talking to you, or even demons, just try to remember you don't have to get along with your voices. Now I'm going to tell you something that the hallucinations would do when I was in psychosis, and how I knew that when this was happening, it kind of was a clue that they weren't angels. So I would feel something going through my hair, and as that was happening, the voice that I thought was the angel would be whispering in my ear, or I'd hallucinate it whispering in my ear. And while that was happening, I could feel my hair moving, and I would tell it to stop. And when I told it to stop, it would continue. And I thought, well, if this is really an angel, why is it playing with my hair? And then when I tell it to stop, it continues. And that was kind of a sign to me. Although it wasn't enough evidence, because I was in psychosis, it's hard to shake those beliefs. But that was a sign or a clue to me that it wasn't an angel. And looking back, that should have been a giveaway to me. That should have gave it away that, hey, this isn't an angel, it's a hallucination. And I don't know how I couldn't have seen that back then, how it didn't give it away right away. But like I said, when you're in psychosis, it's hard to shake some beliefs. But that was just something that happened to me that was a clue to me that it wasn't an angel. And maybe you can compare it to your psychosis and see if anything weird like that has happened to you. So if you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, thank you so much. And you can press the super thanks button underneath my videos to make a small donation if you enjoy my content and want to support me, the creator. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I will see you soon. My name is Gabriel, and I have what they call schizophrenia. Have a good day.